Angle.
All right. We'll call the third public workshop session to order. We have tonight codes and zoning, public works, building and recreation funds. And with that, Treasurer Yarzinski, if you'll take it away.
Okay, so just as the past few other budget meetings, I'll go through my presentation and over the general requests and suggestions, and any questions afterward the department heads can elaborate on. Again, I will reiterate, this is just a draft of ideas.
Do you mind turning that screen, Brendan, so the public can see that screen there?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Certainly.
The highlights are also the same as the other public budget meetings, but just to reiterate, the majority of the budget is fixed. Wage expenses, insurance, etc. So a big way to free up cash flow is eliminating positions, reducing major projects, cost sharing, things like that, grant funding. Another thing to keep in mind is inflation. Another thing to keep in mind is all unplanned expenses can throw off future budget projections. We still haven't gotten a health insurance update yet, but it will not be over 20%. And it is important to keep in mind contractual increases and accumulating payouts that could occur. Just as the other two meetings, the tax assessment has already gone down from last year. It could change again, but this is as of the end of August. The first department is codes and zoning. The first suggestion was just to add extra revenue and expense line additions, which will help us to break out the budgets and make it easier for forecasting in the future. So there's 3 for revenue, which we'll go into more when we go over the revenues, but 3 for expenses, which are PAUCC permit fees, code revision and codification services, and clothing allowance, none of which that they had before a specific budget line for. Some noteworthy items and requests are to make sure we allocate for the Municity 5 annual charges. We increase the advertising and publications to $3,000. For code revision and codification services, budget $5,000, and it has been suggested to trade in the code's pickup truck for a compact car or SUV. Public Works, again, 66% of this budget is wage expenses. The only major requests for this year is to allocate at least $150,000 to paving and for 2 new additional employees to meet current and future workloads. And this would be at about $131,000 cost each. For building facilities, historically the budget has been the same. It has been stable. There's the graph. Obviously, we have a lot of building projects coming up, so there are going to be different requests for this, and inflation plays a role. They're looking for the same things as last year: a push mower, string trimmer, handheld blower. Their capital requests include a mower, trailer for the mower, and the HVAC mini split system for the police server room. It is not cooling effectively. They're also looking for a service truck instead of using the bucket truck for anywhere they have to go. And then a security camera, fire alarm, and access control system replacement since the current systems are outdated. For Parks and Recreation, for next year's park maintenance, they're requesting a total of $217,000. This was the same request as last year for metal roofs, park bathrooms, and concession stands, new pavilions, and paving for basketball and tennis courts. As you all are aware, grant funding has been secured for both NHOT and Ivy Ridge parks. For their major equipment, they're looking for trailer and top swings and also a new truck to replace the current R7 truck. When we go over the capital projects public budget meeting, it will go into more detail about Bishop Park and also Donald Taylor Park. That is all I have covering the major requests, and any detailed questions can be directed to the department head.
Zach, you want to go first?
Sure. Check to make sure it's on, Zach, sorry. It's on. What's the number on the top? 9. There you go.
There you go. Yep, I'm ready.
Flip, flip, flip. Sorry.
Anyone? You want to talk about any of your specific items?
So what we did was we're just cleaning up some of the revenues so the board can make better informed decisions in the future. So instead of fireworks permits, for example, and floodplain permits going to the zoning permit line, then you can actually see what kind of permits we're taking in, what kind of revenue we're taking for permits. We just cleaned up a couple line items, made them more user-friendly, resident-friendly, so they can easily read and understand the budget. We did get rid of inspection services for Paxton Borough. Paxton Borough now handles their own building permits through Approved Code Services, so we no longer process those for them. That ended when Robert left. Municity 5, you will see $10,915. It seems like it's a lot, however, we removed laserfish and up safety, which basically equals itself out. So we just found some items that we weren't using anymore, so clean that up. Historically, the code hasn't been codified every year. We finally codified all of our ordinances, so it's easy for businesses, residents to understand exactly what our current code rules and regulations are. So I did add a line item there to just continue that. It should be done at least once a year. So we added some money for that. Let's see, clothing allowance. Our code enforcement officer, I'd like to get him some Swatara Township gear, so when he's out and about every single day, people can easily recognize that he is an officer of the township. Also, boots for himself and myself when we go out in the field. Regarding the vehicle, we do have a pickup truck right now. It's nearing 100,000 miles. So one of my recommendations was for maybe a compact car, SUV, maybe a small pickup truck to take care of that. I mean, I think we could maybe get another year out of it, but it's getting there. And I think that's everything. If you have any questions, let me know.
Any commissioners have any questions for codes and zoning?
No, it's not a question, but Zach and I are scheduling a meeting next week to look at some of the changes that occur and some of the things that will occur next year and kind of pinpoint if that enhances the revenue side.
Oh, sure.
So we'll have more information on that down the road. It wasn't for tonight, but I should put that out there. We're working on both sides of it.
Any other commissioners have anything? I'm a fan of the swag. I mean, it's not necessarily swag, but dress the part and represent the township well, so I can say that. Do you think more on the capital outlay for and I'm only thinking winter-wise, not going with the compact car, because it doesn't stop you from going out in the winter where you need a four-wheel drive vehicle?
Right, and that's what I was talking to Omar today. He would prefer a small pickup truck, maybe like a
Four-wheel drive?
Four-wheel drive. We do a lot of property postings, so we always have to put large posts in the back of the vehicle. So maybe a small pickup truck would be appropriate.
Was that data network, was that split? Because I think we use the same thing for Olds, right?
Yes.
And is there any way that we can use that for our stormwater and sewer permits as well, that we could actually, essentially we could share that cost across all of them and try?
100%. We do stormwater permits, and Olds also takes permits into the system. So we use Municipal 5 to track all of our registrations for Olds as well. So yeah, I believe that would be a good candidate.
And it'd be a one-stop shop because stormwater could get in there and see the permits, sewer could get in there and see the permits, and if my math's right here, roughly $2,500 at each entity, and that would pay for that software.
Yep, and Manager Traffic and I are also talking about using it for street opening permits as well.
Street cut permits,
Yep,
too?
yep,
Okay.
so,
So that's another split then?
yep.
Yeah, I think let's revisit that while we're in the background with Commissioner Conley and his committee in mind.
Okay.
I think that's something smart to do. Because that's the problem, like, you can't see certain permits, and sewer can't see certain permits, I'm always in favor of sharing of information because communication is key.
Sure.
That's all I have unless any of the commissioners have anything. Let's move right along, Public Works.
Thank you. I'm going to cover both Public Works and Parks and Recs, if you don't mind, before we get to Mr. Orr's presentation. So, Public Works, we're requesting $150,000 for paving. We would like to become more robust with our paving program. We believe that we could do most of those things in-house, but certainly the cost of material is not inexpensive at this time. So, and then the second thing for Public Works is we're asking for 2 additional employees. We have a lot of projects that again we could do in-house. We also know that and I know this isn't stormwater, but our Public Works employees are versatile. They do both for both departments, from time to time during the day. I know the upcoming new permit that we still don't know anything about is concerning, right? So that's kind of my justification for that. And again, the staff is very good. They're multi-trained and they work well together. So that's why we were requesting that. Is there any questions with Public Works before I move to Parks and Recs?
If you want to just keep moving, and we'll just wrap up
Okay.
and take any questions for either, and we just go from there.
So the major equipment purchase for the Parks and Recs department is another trailer, enclosed trailer. I think we have two or three right now. But we actually have 4 staff members that mow every day when mowing is required. We've been fortunate this year, it's been a little dry, but, and then we also were looking at top swings for Plessic Park and Wrestler. And then the capital outlay for the new truck is to replace the current R7, which is actually the one that Codes Department uses now. That's a 2008 Ford. So they requested a new utility bed. I believe it's an F-350. Staff works, they put tools in the trailer, but when they're not taking the trailer, they also carry tools in the truck, to help them do the day-to-day operations. So they were requesting a new truck to help them. And that's the end of my presentation.
Any commissioners have any questions? Brendan, you just want to do buildings, and then we can wrap it all up and answer questions for Public Works, Building, and Parks and Recs?
Sure. Yeah, if you're good with that, then.
Yeah, I'll give time for the commissioners before the next meeting to read the agenda and do everything else.
Sure.
Yep.
Absolutely. I was told to make it short and sweet tonight,
Please.
so I will. I just wanted to highlight a couple things. I apologize. I'm sure you have a pretty thick packet here in front of you, but I wanted to make sure it was equipped with the information for everything that we were asking for the 2026 budget. I'd like to just highlight a couple things that we're looking for, which are under the capital expenses. For the 2025 budget, these next couple items were requested. We're just asking to consider them for the 2026 budget since they were not necessarily covered in the 25 budget. One of those is a John Deere zero-turn mower that will be utilized here for the building. One thing that's kind of come online this year is that we've taken over the Rutherford Fire Station. So we're kind of trying to plan for the future with the maintaining of the buildings. We had been taking care of the Swatara Fire Station as well with the mowing and all the maintenance that happens there. So it would be really ideal for us to have a mower that helps us mow a little bit more quicker and efficiently, and one that we have for ourselves. The other one that we have currently has been was Parks and Rec. We've kind of shared it over the years, so we'd like to be able to have one that we can utilize ourselves, and then to be able to get that around and service those different areas. We're requesting again a trailer to be able to keep the mower in, and then that would have the mower, push mower, the miscellaneous items we would just have with us when we go out to take care of the buildings. Again, as Manager Trafka had mentioned, Parks and Rec is kind of in the same boat. They have the same thing. They have enclosed trailer to keep their equipment in. We would just be looking to do the same thing. Next on the list was a mini split system to take care of the police department server room. Consistently, the temperatures in the room, because the unit is undersized, are well over 80 degrees. And I mean, that should be down into the 50s. And
I'm going to interject on you on that one right now.
Go ahead.
I'm sure every commissioner is going to agree with me. I did talk to Superintendent Stauffer that he was checking at, and Commissioner Conley I talked to also during the remodel.
okay,
I don't think any commissioner right now would be against you getting some type of quote for this now.
okay.
And going after that, instead of waiting until 26, I think everybody would be in agreement to that if we could
That would
do
be
that
great.
and just X this off of your capital request.
Okay. Yeah, if we could do that, that would be great. I do have the 25 price, but when I did reach out to Spinagle, he was going to look into it. He did envision that it would have been much more to push it off to 26, but I would agree. Right now would actually be ideal because we have all the ceiling removed in that space. So if we could do that, that would be.
And after they're moved out, that can just be the server room anyway, because now it's
Correct.
temperature controlled the proper way it should be anyway.
Absolutely.
That makes sense.
Absolutely.
Sorry to cut you off.
No,
Just
no,
wanted to throw that out there.
I appreciate that.
So
Absolutely.
if you can get us something, get Superintendent Stauffer, Commissioner Conley, that's his committee,
Okay.
together, let's talk about it and try to get something by the next agenda in
Okay.
October.
Absolutely. I will take care of that. Last two items on here were a new service truck. If you remember back several years ago, we had purchased the bucket truck, which we've been utilizing pretty often. What we found is that bucket truck could be utilized a little bit more by each department. In fact, Parks and Rec had it out today trimming trees with it. It just becomes really an inconvenience to both sides. If they take it, then I don't have a vehicle to get around in to get out to the buildings to take care of doing service work. So what we'd like to do is just ultimately have that vehicle available for Parks and Rec, myself, and Highway. So it would free up the ability to have that vehicle utilized a little bit more instead of primarily in the custody of myself with all my equipment on. So that's kind of what we were looking to do as far as the service truck goes. And then lastly on here, with all the remodeling that's been going on, we were looking at the potential for upgrading the security cameras, fire alarm, and access control systems. One thing that we've run into with the security camera systems are the digital video recorder that we currently have in place is experiencing some problems where it's not recording on certain channels. We did receive some updated pricing to replace that unit. But we are looking to try to go with a new system, one that would be linked in with the new building project, so that the same equipment will be utilized in both spaces. So whatever we would replace here in the municipal building would be the same manufacturer and same installation and service company that we would like to utilize for the new building if possible. We had previously worked with another vendor, so we're just kind of looking to see about replacing the camera system. The fire alarm system is also out of date. I did just have our current vendor in here looking at the fire alarm and access control system, and unfortunately they're both at end of life. The access control system at the end of this year will no longer be supported. We did just have to have a large replacement done on one of the main control boards. In fact, we weren't even able to program any key fobs for quite a bit of time. So just looking to upgrade those and get those replaced, and along with everything else that we had going on with the remodel.
I'm around your feathers a little bit, but I'm happy you finally decided to do that because you didn't want to do it at first because you didn't want to eat the expense.
Correct.
So I guess the security camera, fire alarm, and access control replacement. I mean, is it smarter for us right now to do that since the majority of this building is wide open, rather than wait for everything to be closed back up and then come back and do it? And I mean, I think this board can just, I don't know if we can add an addendum to the RA agreement that we have forward so we get all that same system with the new building that we're going to build. But I would rather, police are out of the way now.
Right.
They're inconvenienced. Knock that side out. Obviously, we got to come back over to admin and zoning. I don't know if you're going to put a pull station here or whatever. So it'll be minor disturbance here. You're going to do the hallways and everything. The rest of the admin next.
Right.
While we got this building open, can you get a quote for us?
Absolutely.
For the next meeting for
Yeah,
that too?
and I do have one on the camera system, and it was from the vendor that we had sought out for the new building. So I do have that. As far as the fire alarm, I do have as well. But I will be honest with you, I'm not very satisfied with the current vendor that we're using. So I'd really like to seek out some additional options for us.
Yeah.
So.
Good.
Yeah, Brendan, it was a few weeks ago when I brought up about the security system. And my concern is whoever we go with, that it's definitely going to be lasting us for a while.
Yes.
Because there's different grades, as you know, different qualities, and we definitely need to make sure that we're getting something that's going to be around for a while.
The one thing that I'd really like to incorporate in this system is a product that is not vendor specific. We did that with the elevator. It may have cost us a little bit more to go that route, but now if we decide in a year that we don't want to use Schindler elevator, we can call the next company and they come in and they take it over. We're not bound to using Schindler. It's a universal product. We found that depending, depending what company we go through, for the service work, we can kind of get a product that's in the same boat as that.
Just when you're talking security systems, the only reason I'm specifying that is because we've dealt enough with them over the past 20 years or so.
Sure.
And I know there's a big difference in quality with different brands.
Definitely.
So that's something that's been around for a while that has the capability of getting us through for quite a bit of time is what I'm hoping for.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree with you. And we had spent some time when we were looking at the vendor for the new building previously. We did do some due diligence, I think, trying to find somebody that was of a larger scale company that, when we need them, they're going to be here, but also that was mindful of the expenses that went along with that. Our current vendor is a large scale company, and I feel like we've gotten lost because they're big and we're kind of small on their spectrum. So I think that what we're paying could definitely be lessened by seeking out a better partner. So, but we'll look into that, and I'll get some get a couple prices so we have them.
And then just one other thing with that. I don't know, I don't know how with like the police side and stuff, if it has to be stored a certain way, but if it's going to be allowed to be put on the cloud rather than, maybe that might be helpful down the
I
road.
think their intention is to handle all the security once the building's done, so that would be basically handled strictly by PD.
Yeah, I think So I have had some talks with Superintendent Stauffer and their staff previously, back when we were looking at the new system with the new building, and we were looking at a cloud-based product, something that would be stored, but it would be accessible between myself and PD. We would be the ones that would handle all of the collaboration with all of that, because there are some things right now, like even with viewing different, when we pull video for, the potential for an incident in the front parking lot, there's certain things that we've been able to help them with, but, it is, obviously confidential, or if we had an incident, which we've not really had, but, an incident with an employee that we need to investigate, our working with them to do that is certainly ideal.
Okay, thank you.
So, yeah, absolutely.
Any other questions for building and facility?
Yeah, I have something, hopefully it won't rise to the level it needs to be in next year's budget, but I've already been the cause of the nameplate falling this way, making big noise, and I've knocked it off the other way. So, I saw, we had a CAPCOG event last night, and I was thinking about the different places that I've been to. There is something, because we have multiple people that sit in seats that
Yes.
have the nameplate, so there's something that, and I don't know if that's in the works, but before, it makes a pretty big sound. And
Yes.
It scares you if you're not paying attention.
right, especially when you know that you did it.
I'm ashamed of it.
I was in here when someone else did it, but I've done it.
Yeah,
But
there.
it really makes a good sound if it goes.
When you take the full
Yeah.
gusto off the front, yeah. Yeah, we are going to, and just to kind of give you real quick an update where we stand, with the room. Illuminated was in today. They've been here all week working diligently to get us up and live. So hopefully this is tonight's last meeting that we will be using a cell phone and these microphones
Excellent.
to talk with the public. And we'll make sure that something gets out to the public as soon as the YouTube channel is live, and we're going to share that to the public. That we'll share a link to Facebook as well. So we'll make sure that everyone for the meetings, and I'll tell you, I was in here today when they were working on the microphones, and you guys will be,
Surprising.
oh my gosh, it is really nice. The ability for the controls that you'll have, and the ability to vote and things like that just on the screens. There's a lot that technology is really going to just give us some additional resources, but I think they've done a great job at getting us there.
So now that you said that, that brings me to a point, maybe a training session for the board members, for all the different boards.
Yes.
Maybe if you could set something up, maybe
Yep.
during the day, during the evening, and then we can all come in.
Absolutely.
Some of us are tech savvy, some of us are not.
Absolutely. Yeah, and you'll see, like, even on the screens here, they're live right now with the ability to present to them.
Right.
But, there's some different options on how we'll be able to do that. We'll be able to, what we will be able to share to the public. There's a lot of hands-on things that will still need to happen. I think I did share with Commissioner Steele today, just a quick conversation. There is still that piece of us being involved. We have 4 cameras here. We have different things that the public will be able to see, which will be great. So instead of having a camera facing the screen here, they'll be able to see a live view of what we're seeing. So there's a lot of technology that's mixed into it, but I feel really good with Illuminated and where they've got us so far. So just wanted to kind of give you a quick update, but absolutely, Commissioner, we'll find out a better plan for that. They got the screens out, which you'll see in front of you, so each of you will have what's on those screens right in front of you as well. So that'll be a lot easier instead of straining your eyes.
So I know we're getting off the beaten path a little bit, but where does that put us as far as, do we need to move up our agenda timelines for our meetings, our cutoffs, like sewer is normally that Friday before the Monday meeting, that way we can get everything
Right.
scanned in, sent over to be able to present. Is that something that we need to look into for all the different boards too?
I think that is something that should be discussed, just
The
so.
solicitor and I have already talked about
Okay.
getting some kind of policy in place and then getting back to department heads.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I think that's a great idea. I think as we're learning it, and I say me, ourselves as well, how it's going to best be suited for the residents to see. We'll kind of have an idea how that's going to work. So as I say this to the public, you know, it may take us a month or two just till we get all the bugs and everything tweaked and worked out, and we really know the ins and outs of how the system's going to work best for us. But I think in the long run, you know, those viewing from home will really be able to have the experience of like being in the meeting.
One more piece.
Certainly.
I don't want to forget this.
Yeah, go for it.
We've seen this with the franchise, and Commissioner Conley probably could work on this because I think that falls under Capcom. But the free channel, local channel under the franchise, can we look into that too, that we could broadcast to that?
Sure. I don't know much about that. Is that the one Laura Paxton is using?
It's the cog too, right?
Harrisburg.
It's the cog, and then he
Okay.
handles the franchise stuff. So if we could do that too, because that would be
Sure.
benefit. There are some seniors that have absolutely no internet and no Facebook, but that local channel
Yeah.
can come in for them.
Yeah, we could definitely look into it. I think when we had started this project a few years ago, even just we had reached out to Laura Paxton to try to get an idea like how they were doing it, because I know there was, if I recall, a cable channel or something that you could go to and watch their meetings. And I think kind of had if you watched one of theirs, like you would see the camera change angles and different views depending who was speaking. So we will have something very similar to that. And I know just even with the sound quality, everything is on a Cat 6 wire. So we're not doing any wireless communications. Everything is all hardwired. I mean, we will have some wireless mics for presenters and what have you, but I think the quality will certainly be there. But I would, Commissioner, if you wouldn't mind maybe working with me and we can look into that a little bit.
Yeah.
Let me grab it.
Even if,
And let's see.
even if the mic's not on, the quality's still there.
I just wanted to mention with respect to that idea of the local channel, I think the October 1st board meeting also includes a quote-unquote public hearing to discuss the franchise agreement, because that is coming up for renewal very soon. So those discussions should be had as part of that process if it's not included already.
Thank you. Yeah, we'll definitely.
Yeah, tomorrow, whatever, probably
Sure.
next day, we'll get together and then, we'll send something to Gary Myers
Okay.
at the county, and just see if he might refer us to somebody else. But I mean, that's
Yeah,
a starting point.
And I'm not overly familiar with it, so we'll certainly. I do know from the discussion and working with the integrators that being able to broadcast to multiple platforms is there. It's just how we go about that and making sure that we're capturing the biggest audience, I guess, is really what we want to try to do. You know, if we can do that across multiple options, that would be fantastic.
Yes, I said a few months ago about trying to get other people trained to make sure we definitely have coverage for all the meetings in the township.
Myself and President Ailes talked about that. Myself and Brendan talked about it, and he's just going to come up with a game plan because, President Ailes' request was to have every single public meeting recorded, so that essentially is the township, the stormwater, the fire service board, the sewer, the zoning, planning. We just, obviously now we hold our, civil service, our public as well, so that would be another.
Right.
Yeah, we have to come up with some game plan. Some of them, he's here in the afternoon, that's what we're talking about, and some of them, he can't make every single one, so.
Yeah, I certainly don't want to. Yeah, no, absolutely. And I agree 100% with you. We want to make sure because, somebody's sick or something happens or, I'm away or somebody, we want to make sure there's other people trained. And looking at what we've seen so far, it's going to be a little bit of training that goes with it. There are some hands-on things that will need to be done. But, if you're holding a meeting in here, let's say we're doing a training or something along those lines, there is a touch screen over here on the wall. Staff can come in, just, click, live mics or whatever they want to do. They'll have the ability to do some. So we will need to do some training with staff here for sure.
So some of the meetings, like, I think it's civil service, I don't think they're going to show up. They just have a quick agenda, so you're saying superintendent style, where you just turn that on, cameras cut on, and it just
Right.
stays right in place the whole day.
Yeah, I think when we get into things like this where there's a little bit more interaction, you know, we are putting more things on the screen, the agenda, presentations, especially if you have, you know, somebody coming in to share something large scale that you want to make sure that the interaction's good on. So,
Right. Okay.
but
Anything
yeah,
else?
I agree with you, Commissioner.
Anything else, Ken? Bill?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay, let's switch over,
Thanks for
switch
that.
back to Public Works. That's where we're at, Public Works. Any questions for Public Works? I'll go first. Paving, as far as paving is, you want 150,000 out of general fund. Have you made your request yet for liquid fuels? So we're gonna need to budget that too. I don't think we did that last month. So if you, is this going to be, we've got to discuss who we have the agreement with right now, but is this part of the agreement, the 150, to meet that?
No,
Okay.
this would be over and above.
Over and above. Okay, so we probably should come up with something that we can, possibly by the next budget round, that we can budget some fuel spend.
Commissioner, I just wanted to let you know, and maybe I didn't, Veolia has suspended their paving for the next 2 years because they are currently moving a lot of water lines in the township in preparation of the 83 project.
Right.
So I did have a discussion with them, I want to say it was a month and a half ago. And I asked, that very question, were we going to enter into another agreement? And that's when they left me no. So,
That's a hurt for us.
it is, but,
Yeah.
Again, I know that right now currently they have 3 crews working in different parts of the township, moving water lines in preparation, so, I kind of understood. So.
And then, your 2+ employees is, now on the agenda tonight, if it would pass, we have 5. Is this a total of 7 then?
Yes, I'm asking for the 2 additional, and again, with I know the upcoming MS4 permit, requirements, we're all so unsure, on what that's gonna be, and then we're also, there's a lot of work to be done, so to speak, right? We have a lot of things going on in the parks. We want to try and do most of that stuff in-house. So again, I was just trying to, plan if everything comes to fruition and we have to do the things, to keep our costs down, which is, what our end goal is. That's why I was asking for possibly 2 additional.
Does anybody have anything on Public Works? I think the building maintenance for the parks and recs is right on point where we were already headed with grants and everything else, so I think that stays on task where we were anyway. I don't know why I remember Clown Park. Did we want to repave that court? I thought we talked about that. Was that Clown Park?
No, it was Sioux Drive basketball court, and Hall basketball court. I was actually just out at Clown today, but I didn't really look to see. But the parking lot didn't look. The crest. The crest is the one.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay. Can we add that on there then too?
We could,
Okay.
and I'll have to get you an estimate on that. Yep. And I'll say this too. There was a water line disconnected many years ago. Don't know when. Don't know why. But before, I would like to see us get a new water line put in place across that parking lot and then paved. Because the baseball teams or softball teams, whoever that use that field, and even our park staff, they could use water back down there again. I think there was just a frost-free yard hydrant down close to the field itself. So I would really like to get that hooked back up as well. So I'll do all that estimating as quick as I can and get you a number.
And I take just the trailer just goes right along with the truck, right?
Yes. And again, the trailer they use mostly for the winter months, and they also do store, some equipment there. Mostly for the summer months, but they store their equipment for the winter months. So yeah, and then, like I said, the truck is Certainly, you know, when it's not hooked to a trailer, that way they can carry tools in the utility bay. So,
Any questions for Parks and Rec?
I have a question about the crest. That storage box that's there, is that the township's or was that from an association?
I would assume it's from an association, but I can't speak to that. Is it behind the?
It's in the corner spot of the parking lot, on the side of the parking lot where the basketball court is.
I'll have to look. I don't recall seeing it.
I didn't know if we kept the equipment there, but. I mean,
We don't,
if
no.
we're paving or might have to be at least moved temporarily. And I was just wondering if it was still in use. We've had that happen with, sometimes associations change or switch and they have things stored in an outbuilding or storage building that, you know, years go by and, the equipment is outdated. Now, if that's maintenance equipment, that might be something different. I don't know what's.
I don't think we're storing anything there. Again, I would think it would be one of the associations, but I'll reach out.
It's like a military grade FEMA, and it's looks like a heavy metal.
Okay.
You know, I don't think it's gonna break into it or anything. The stuff's probably protected from the weather, but it's about the size of half a vehicle.
I'll check into it.
Brittany, did you add the wage increase into the stormwater employees for next year? For 2025, their increase, I think it might be, was it 2.5% to 3%? No, for the wages for the public works that's on the budget now.
Yes, I did.
So the 3%. So,
Yes.
Okay. That's all I have. Anybody else have anything? Mr. Sutton?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Conlon? Mr. Ellis?
Nope.
Okay. 6:46, budget meeting 3 closed.
Anybody in the audience, or anyone will do that?
Have any public comment? Chris, you have anything?
Did someone say good job, Brittany?
Great job, Brittany. I forgot you last meeting. I apologize. Brittany did a great job on the budget and putting everything together. Thank you.